I am loud in sex, and I couldn't make a sound because my mouth was filled. And I finally realized the way to have quiet sex is to have sex with multiple people. Hey everybody, it is TorontoUnicorn and it is Post-DTF. It is quite the update. You might want to get comfortable because we've got a lot to say, right?
Oh my. So I got there a little bit earlier than you did, and immediately in the pool when I got there, I started connecting with a gentleman. We were hitting it off and probably could have gone upstairs long before you even got there, but I didn't want to begin my night so, out of the gate quite like that. I wanted to pace myself. So yeah, I put that off for a while, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm waiting for my friends, and started talking to other people and things, and then finally you showed up.
Finally. It was like 8 p.m. Yeah, so anyways, I show up and I meet Jay in line because we were going to have a bit of a renaissance together that night. And it was really great. We hung out in the line a little bit. We got in, got naked, got into the pool, and our night began. And it was full of a bit of anticipation, but quiet anticipation, because it's not like you walk in and the place is bumping. It's like people are getting in the pool, people are getting familiar with who's there. And so a lot of the play doesn't happen right away. And so we were, just kind of getting to look around, who's here, who's not here. And it's exciting because not only did Jay come, but then like an hour later, B came. And so they were both basically my my friend dates for the night. And I'll get to the part later, but they fulfilled a very good fantasy for me that I had never had before. And I'm very excited about that. So we'll get to that. But anyway, so we're all socializing in the pool.
We were all going to go take a walk upstairs.
Oh, a tour. We're going to do a tour.
Take a tour. So I left with actually 2 men from the pool and headed upstairs, and you were there with your crowd as well.
Yeah.
So we all headed upstairs, and there was a lot of people upstairs, and
not as many as later.
No, exactly. But we milled around, we looked, we saw, etc. And then I lost track of you.
It was like 1 or 2 guys fucking 1 or 2 girls. Like, it was not a lot of activity yet.
Okay.
Which I guess if you're new to a sex club, that would be a lot of activity. But to us, we're like, that's just bread and butter sex. Like, what are you talking
about?
It
was early in the night. So.
Yeah, Anyways.
Okay, so the first interesting thing that I remember was suddenly walking into a room, peeking around the corner, and there you are with B and J. Literally giving BJ. A BJ.
I can't believe I didn't figure that out.
BJ, a BJ.
I gave a BJ to BJ.
On your BJ!
On my BJ! Okay, this goes on fire. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so this is the part of the story that is very, very, I hold dear, because I have never had a true MFM threesome, which is 2 men focused on me in the middle. I've never had that, and I've wanted this for a long time. And when I first met B, this is an interesting story, and it's true. When I first met B a few years ago, we met in the pool at Oasis from a Tinder match, and it worked well because we're still friends now. And I remember when I met B, we connected in the pool, and he whispered in my ear that he likes to make women's fantasies come true. And I remember being perked up by that because I had just discovered my love for sexual exploration, and he seemed to want to help me with it. And I felt, because he gets joy out of giving women pleasure and having women get, he likes making women happy. So, I got disappointed a few months later when it didn't work out, and we stopped really hanging out, and we have off and on. But it's funny, a few years later, the 2 most important guys that I would have wanted to pick for this, because of how much I know them, how comfortable I am with them, how cool they are, how sexy they are, all the best guys I could have asked for, okay? Hands down. And their dicks were both right here. And I could go from one to the other. And I'll say it when the guys don't stand close enough. And when I ask you to stand close, I ask for your dicks to be close, not your bodies. So if I'm asking, don't stand closer this way, stand closer this way. So anyways, I remember feeling like, oh my god, and then how much is it too long on this guy, and should I go back? And remember balancing, right? I actually did originally hope for a gangbang, which is 3 men on a woman. But to be honest, it's a lot of work with 2 men, and maybe I should really work my way up anyways. So maybe that'll just be on the agenda for next time, because 2 is a lot of responsibility to keep kind of entertained. And at one point, I heard I thought was S, walk through, and I almost wanted to be like, "Hey, do you want a cab?" Because I was like, I could use some help over here.
Of course, all right. So then I walk into the room at this point. You guys are all doing that,
Okay.
and I'm watching, and what do? You look up and you're like, "Are you towing the line?" I'm like,
"Oh, I did
yes.
that. I did that to be funny. I did that to be funny."
I know.
I hope you got that as a joke.
I totally did. So
Okay,
I looked and I'm like, okay. Anyway, don't you worry, I'm towing the line. So, and then you're like, no, just come and sit down. So I got to actually watch close up, and yeah, that was something. It was a nice close up view of everything, and there was a lot of envious spectators that wanted to be in my position.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
How many people were watching that?
At any given time, there could have been, you know, like they moved from room to room, right? So there, I mean, I remember at one time there must have been 7, 8, 9, maybe, like that I could see. Now I wasn't really concentrating on them, but I did glimpse over and see who was doing what. There was a lot of hand movement at the towel.
Oh yes, under the towel. Like, what are you doing?
Come here, coach. Come here, coach.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, it was lovely to see you, and you were having the time of your life.
Yes, and so I got to put 2 guys' D's in my mouth at the same time, both heads and like around, and I did like the double kind of the blowjob thing. And then my favorite thing is getting spit roasted. So getting a guy putting his D in my pussy. I love that I say D and then I say pussy. Oh, whatever. So as soon as I start to get, I get a cock put right in my mouth, and I noticed something.
What?
I heard crickets because it was so fucking quiet. I am loud in sex, and I couldn't make a sound because my mouth was filled. And I finally realized the way to have quiet sex is to have sex with multiple people.
Well, there you go. I was waiting for the infamous
Exactly.
And it never came.
Exactly. I needed air a few times so that you'd hear something, and then I'd be like, right back at it.
Right back at it, yep.
And I really, really had a lot of fun. I remember the moment where I realized, like, almost like my checkbox was done. Like, I got it, you know? And, like, it felt so far away before, in a way, and I don't know if the audience knows this, but I had actually set up a MFM threesome maybe like 3 years ago now, or 2-3 years ago. And on the day of, biology happened, and we weren't able to go through with it. And I remember I was, like, crying because I thought it was right there. Like, I was ready. There were the guys that liked each other. Like, I was ready, and I felt like it kind of got taken away from me. And so I was a little nervous about this one, but I had hope, and I remember in that moment realizing I actually can't believe I got what I really, really wanted for my birthday, and it was a new experience, a new human pyramid experience, as I like to say.
And it was everything you hoped for?
I mean, it was. I hope to do many more, and I hope to be intensely, potentially face fucked at one point while I'm getting penetrated. I have a lot of visions now, so this is not the end of my double male. This is probably the beginning.
Well, good for you.
But yeah, so anyway, so then after that ended, B went off and had a ton of other fucking awesome experiences. He DP'd a girl in the club. I have never seen anal in the club, let alone DP. So I can't believe I missed it. I got to see him like play with other couples because I could watch him for a little bit, which I know for some people watching, they'd be like, how can you have sex with somebody and then like watch them have sex with somebody else and be happy for them? We can. Right?
Yep.
We can. It's hedonistic lifestyles. It's just sex. It's body parts going in body parts. It's just sex.
It's kind of like I explained, some people, some friends, they get together, they play squash.
Mm-hmm.
Some friends, they like to play cards together. Some go bowling. We go to Oasis.
And we watch our friends get fucked. Or we fuck our friends.
exercise.
Isn't this the best lifestyle you've ever found?
It's pretty good.
It's my favorite. Anyways, yeah, so that was great. After, then we dispersed. B went off and had all these great experiences. He had fucked so many other people. Jay and I had a friend-a-thon, so we basically hung out and made out in the pool. Also had sex our own. And then there was a cute girl named S that I got to watch Jay play with, and like I got to play with Jay while he was doing that. And then like I don't normally have threesomes where the woman is straight, but this was a very good exception because I liked her personality. She's juicy. These guys want to fuck her. She's gonna want to fuck these guys. It really was like let's just make magic happen. And so it was really enjoyable. But then I remember when he was fucking her, I put some lube on my finger and I put it between his ass cheeks so that I didn't move my hand. But whenever his ass would rub up against it, it was rubbing lubed finger against his asshole. And he liked it. He even commented about it after. So I was literally like, I was like sipping my wine while my friend's fucking someone else, just holding my finger. But anyway, so that was my juicy part of the night. And then there was a very big fantasy fulfillment for R, and I got to participate in it. So I would love to hear your story on this.
All right. First of all, I happened to run into somebody that I knew before, a person I referred to as Chocolate Cake. Mm-hmm. And he returned, and it was sweet once again. Yeah. I gorged at the buffet this time.
3 times, apparently.
Yes, well, I ended up getting with Chocolate Cake 3 times. It's way beyond calorie count, but it was good. If it's good, you go back for more, you know? Yeah. So that was good. And then in between that, so there was, I think it was twice with him, and then I did it. That thing that I said I was going to do.
The blindfold.
I got my courage. I took a breath, put it on, looked at you, and said, all right, let's do this.
And this is where I had fun. And let me just start by saying, when you're responsible for picking which guy holding their dick gets to get put in to the scene, you get a lot of like puppy dog blinking eyes at you, like, please pick me, please pick me, please. And I'm just like, ah. So I didn't want to be discriminatory, and I didn't like the feeling of making other people feel overpicked. And at one point I went like this, and a guy started walking. I was like, not you. So like I wasn't pointing at him. So it really was like, it was up and down that way, but I got to make some guys' dreams come true. Let's actually talk them in. So we had multiple men take turns. There was 3 at a time for the most part.
Started out with 2, and then I think we quickly moved into the 3rd one, yeah.
And then when a guy would be finished, he would leave, and I'd bring in another one, and I would give him the rules, condoms, and no anal. Yeah. And I said, it's anonymous, right, with a blindfold, and they were all happy. Anyways, and so I got to pick really interesting people, and these people, like, some of the people just looked like nothing to pick from other than a person standing there. But after I saw them have sex with you, they were really great people. They turned out to be like, you guys were laughing. Like, yeah. It was nice to see how these weren't just stick figures. They were real people, and you were having real experiences, even though it was anonymous, because these people deserve to be treated well too, right? Yeah. And so I felt it was nice and personal in a way, even though there was so much anonymity in it. I don't care if the word said wrong. So anyways, this is the part that I think is just funny. The last guy that I put in, it was basically the only really guy left at the time.
Okay.
And he did already have a condom on his dick when I picked him. I didn't know until I picked him, and then I looked down and I was like, oh no, he's like, put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. I gotta put me in, coach. You did, but I think he did a good job. So I think it's almost like not a bad thing. It worked out well. Yeah. But I remember being like, oh no, she's gonna kill me. So how many men did come through your...
Now, just to sort of qualify this, with a blindfold on, and me not having, all my senses necessarily at my disposal, it was sort of hard. So I could only tell who was there by their D. Okay? Whether it was what it felt like, whether it was circumcised or not. I could feel parts of their body, but I couldn't feel their faces. I couldn't necessarily, depending on where they were.
What was it like to just have just the D?
That's what I was focused on mostly, and it was fun because you're concentrating on it. So here's how I spent the night. Ready? I had one like in the mouth and in the hand, and the other one is like busy, and of course I had one inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember at one point the boys were talking, if I can say that, the boys were talking, and one said, yeah, when you do that, and I think he was referring to some thrusting movements,
mm-hmm.
when you do that, she goes faster on the rhythm for me, so keep doing that. So they were communicating to each other of what to do, because there was I guess you'd call it a transference of energy.
Yes.
Through...
Absolutely. It was
real.
Wild.
It was crazy.
Real.
So there was that kind of interaction going on. And then, so I can't remember the exact body count. 2 groups of 3, 6, maybe 8.
Yeah.
6 to 8, something like that.
Yeah.
That I can remember, not counting the one I fooled around with in the pool.
And they were happy. They were very...
Really?
I want you to know this part.
Okay.
Because I'm an empath. I can feel energy. So when I would pick them and they like... that moment, and then like I just felt like they were like, yeah, like I can do this, like I'm gonna have sex tonight. Like I felt like that was coming from some of them.
That's good. I like that.
And me too, because they were still really great at fucking you. It was just that they just were really eager about it, right? And it really
that makes me happy to hear they were eager about it.
Yeah,
that's part of the trip for this.
I think that's part of the appeal of them holding their right up there is like, there's nothing to do yet. We're ready. You ready? I'm ready.
Yeah.
And fluff yourself, guys, because like we don't take care of. I like being a fluffer in my dynamics because I like sucking dick a lot, but that's different.
With 3 people though, you kind of have to do some fluffing because there's too much waiting around otherwise. So I was very busy, and like you said, you have to try and find balance between equal sides. You don't want any one person to feel neglected. So. I just remember at one point, it was really funny because there were 3 of them and I was in that position and the one guy was trying to get in, position himself, and he's like, excuse me, boys, and they're trying to squish in with each other. And I'm like, this is like a game of Twister. They're like, yeah, it kind of is. And so they were okay that way. Yeah. Though. It was a good dynamic.
Like it was like,
it was
you guys
a good
were
dynamic.
like team building, like
it was like communication, networking.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch because I think people had a good time. It was fun. I can see why people do this. I can see why you have sex with strangers. Even I'm not saying I would do it, but I'm not saying I wouldn't, and I'm not saying I would, but like you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it was. I wanted you to know the part of. I think that it made some of these guys' nights.
I'm glad it did because that was part of the intention too. You
feel included in the environment, and also like I was an assistant to their like whatever you want to call this. What do you want to call this?
Well, you I don't know what to call it. You had the power.
Gangbang.
You had the power.
Well, I also had all the lube responsibilities and condoms. And every couple minutes, I'd be like, "Is there any more lube? Is there any?" I'd get a stash. Where did they go? What are they doing with all of this?
I don't know what they were doing.
And then they couldn't open the lube. So I had to, every single one, handing it back. I'm sitting there watching this like gangbang happen with Jay and watch. So by the way, Jay's actually effing fucking S right beside her having her gangbang. It was
really?
Yes, I watched both.
I didn't see that. No. I just heard you guys talking. I heard you and Jay talking.
Oh,
like in the back of my mind. I was really in a bubble, right? So you know, my ears are going to whatever sound is the highest, and sometimes it's breathing in my ear, and sometimes it was your voice. And so I was sort of tuning in and out of it. But I remember hearing you talk. I remember hearing a lot of slapping noises next to me.
Yeah, that was him fucking her.
Was it?
So she actually had sex with a few guys up there. So Jay was part of it, but not the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I had no idea what was going on next to me. Like I said, you're in your own little zone when that's going on. So
yeah,
I had to concentrate because otherwise you get the rhythm wrong. You forget about one hand. Like it's not easy.
And you know what? It took forever. As much as it was fun to watch my friend have a gangbang, once you've seen 2 hours of that. I could go for breakfast, you know, like, and so I had to wait. Jay left because he had to work the next day. I'm like, my eyes are closed, like waiting. So we didn't even get home until very, very, very late, and asleep, you know, right around like maybe 5:30.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, not good. But I'm on vacation, so who cares? So now that we have both had these enormous experiences at DTF, I've gone in a DTF girl and I came out a DTF woman, right? Next time I have higher aspirations. I want to have a gangbang, or I actually, and this is something I'm just putting out into the universe to make it happen. But I think I'm going to try and coordinate something for Jay's birthday, which is potentially another upcoming night, and give a reverse gangbang. So I am looking for multiple women on one man as like to fill a bucket list thing, because he's only ever had 2. So I want him to have like 3 or 4 women on once. Yeah.
Good
and
stuff.
I'm happy to invite these sexy women because there's a few already on my roster. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what I can make happen. Yeah, so that's hopefully for like the next DTF, is to have a reverse gangbang coordinated by me.
Good stuff. That's amazing.
The night is long.
Yeah.
Sometimes you spend the night socializing in back rooms instead of the where all the sex is. Everybody, you know, experiences the club differently, and I really like the pool the best. Like when you're not watching people have sex, the pool is just where people are social, and like I will say I did once again have a couple guys touch me without permission, and it was a problem. Like I was a little short with them about it because I don't have patience for it. I do not want your hands on my body without consent. Nobody does. So it's a rule there. Then you can get kicked out of Oasis or any sex club if you touch somebody's person without consent. Even this. Doesn't have to be this. It could be this. So when a guy comes and puts his arm around me, that's not allowed. And actually, I will give it back to you. So anyways, that was the only other small thing. But I had a wonderful night. I couldn't have asked for better friends to hang out with on my birthday celebration. It doesn't always go the way you want. And when it does, and you kind of bring home a W, like a win, for your kind of personal aspirations in this lifestyle, it makes you hungry for more because it is not as scary as you thought it was, right?
It's true. You have to get out of your comfort zone and jump in with both feet. Otherwise, you know, what kind of experiences do you have in life?
You gotta get out of your head. You just gotta do it.
That's it.
Do it with people you trust, but do it. But yeah, so this, and I'll be honest, I've gotten some comments from women on DTF videos. So I don't have a lot of women-based viewers, so I've noticed that there's a big uptick in the women viewers of my DTF videos. And I've gotten some very, very positive feedback from some women I've shared with that are just really exciting to hear how, like, my honesty about being nervous going to these clubs and showing my vulnerability, and that I'm not just like a confidence machine. It's like I go in there, you know, like with a Tums in my tummy, because I'm like, you know, I want to, you know, I have my own nerves, I have my own fears, I have my own inhibitions, and it's all, I'm putting this on YouTube, for Christ's sake, you know what I'm saying? So I have nervousness about delivering also, but yeah, it's like I feel like I'm a representative of the lifestyle, and if I go in there and can't cross my own things off my list, are people going to get inspired to do it for themselves, right? So this DTF is in the books. You know, the pussy juices are dry. You know, it's just in the memory books now. So I'm gonna be looking forward to the next one. In the meantime, we're gonna have fun in our normal, you know, hangouts at Oasis, and see what other magic we can create. But any last words for anybody considering DTF, who wants to know how to be successful at DTF?
For men, be respectful. I think that's the most important thing. Like, you know, everyone that I connected with was super fun. We chatted, some of them. I still don't know who you are. So if you're watching this video, I want to say I had a great time with you. That was awesome. So thank you very much for helping make that fantasy come true. And if I do see you again at the club, come and say hi. I won't know who you are, but
yeah, that's hilarious. I might know. I'll be like,
I'm counting on it.
Yeah. So it was a wonderful night. I think if I was going to give advice to somebody coming to DTF, I would say to not come to DTF if you're a first timer, because it is very intense and it is not the right tempo to set as your expectation for the next time. If you are ready to get fucked, if you are getting divorced and you're ready to celebrate that, then yes, DTF might be the night for you. It has a purpose. All right?
Yeah. And it's not to, meet one person and go off necessarily. It's meant for multiple men.
And experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I had a threesome doesn't mean my night's over. It means like those people go play with other people. So it is a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful lifestyle. So stay tuned until the next one.
Bye.